All right. We are recording there. We're recording here, so we should be good to go. So we're going to start this thing. I'm going to sync the audio really quick. Now I can go back and view when it all works out well and sync it up quick and easy. So clapping's always fun. But here we go. We're on the Big Access Podcast in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome on into this week's episode of the Big Access Podcast. Today we have Jeff Goen with Allstate Security here with Allstate. No, that's when your hands, right? That's Allstate with the hands. It's all safe. So I totally screwed up that intro. So let's start that over. So we've got Jeff Goen with Allsafe Security joining us today, and we're really excited to have Jeff on today to talk all about different types of restaurant applications that PDK has been installed in that he's helped us out with. So we're very excited to talk with him. Jeff, thanks a ton for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, I'm really excited to chat with you. But before we dive into the restaurant side of things, I got to know, who is Allsafe Security? What makes you guys tick, and what's so special about Allsafe?
Allsafe Security is a Central Texas, Austin, Texas located security contractor. We've been around since 1993, mainly servicing the Austin area, but as we'll talk about here in a little bit about some of the restaurants, we've now kind of expanded our work area to Dallas and Houston and San Antonio with the PDK product. And we're a small company, but I would say we're probably 50% residential, 50% commercial. I run the commercial side of it, so dealing with restaurants, buildings. I do a lot of car dealerships as well, things like that. So like I said, small business, but try to do it the right way, keep our customers happy so they refer us more business, and we just keep plugging away.
Hey, that's always good, right? I mean, keeping customers happy is the name of the game, right? If you're going to be one of those security dealers who just goes out there to install something, and that's the last little bit that you want to talk with that customer, you don't ever want to interact with them again, well, PDK is not going to be the product for you because, well, PDK is it's a service company, right? It's access as a service. And so it's going to be a customer that is retained. And so making sure that you've got a good relationship with those customers is always going to be important. And they, like you said, in turn will give you repeat business, but then they'll also refer you to other businesses out there because, let's be honest, business owners know other business owners. They talk, and they want to make sure that other people are having good experiences when they're having good experiences. So love that you guys have that mentality there at Allsafe.
Sure, absolutely.
So you talked about you guys are expanding. You guys are based out of the Austin area, but then you're going to Dallas, Houston area. Why are you guys ultimately expanding and covering all that territory?
Well, what makes it easy with the ProdataKey is the cloud-based, where I can get on anytime with my phone and see what's going on with a customer. And 90% of the time, I can figure out what's going on with the issue. We've partnered with a couple of companies in Dallas and Houston that I can contact and go take care of the issue. But most of the time I can get the end user on the phone, and we can figure out what's going on without even having to go out there, which is pretty unique and pretty easy to do. So
Yeah, you're not kidding, man. Being able to pull up your phone to be able to do remote troubleshooting without having to roll a truck, that's such a cool, unique thing that people absolutely love about PDK. So glad to see that you guys are utilizing that to really expand your business to different areas in different markets, and PDK is helping you guys to do that.
Yeah, without that, I don't think I would even try it. When I first got in the business, it was the old software, and you had to have a computer hooked up to the product. I mean, you're going over there, and the computer crashed months ago, and now that we've eliminated that, like I said, I can get on, on my phone and just look and pull up the customer's account. And I try to go over that with them, say, hey, call me first, don't panic, and and knock on wood, a lot of times it's just user error. Maybe they didn't put in card or PIN on the when they're enrolling someone, or maybe they didn't assign them that particular door, and the other day that was the case, and he goes, "Man, I know I did it right." And I said, "Here, let me hop on there and look." And sure enough, they didn't. And he was like, "Oh, sorry, my fault. It's working great."
I screwed up. Oh, that's good, man. Being able to do that and be able to solve that problem that quickly, that's so good for you guys as the dealer. But think about the benefit that is to the end user, right? Now they don't have to pay for a truck roll to go out there and see that, oh, it was just some dumb mistake that I made, and now that's going to cost me. They don't have to worry about that, right? So it's so good being able to have that remote capability.
Yeah, and people like their phones these days too. The fact that, when you can tell a business owner, "Hey, here's how this product works," and I can pull it out before I even send a proposal and say, "Here's how you're going to be able to control that door." You can eliminate keys. You can eliminate, a lot of things. And most of the time they're intrigued just by that. We get in there with price and sell it, then, everybody's happy. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to sound just because I'm talking to you, like, hey, I'm just saying this, but I haven't had one person tell me I don't like this product. and honestly, a lot of times I don't even have to go and show them. We'll say, "Hey, you're going to click on here. Here's how you're going to add a card. Here's, you're going to put them in groups," and they it's so simple. They do it themselves, and I don't even hear from them.
I mean, that is one really unique thing, is the intuitive nature does make it so that somebody who does not have any experience with access control can ultimately get in there and understand access control suddenly in 10 to 15 minutes. It's really cool that way. Yeah. That's awesome. And so let's transition that to talking about restaurants, right? I mean, ultimately, you guys have done a lot of different restaurants, and in fact, you've done a restaurant chain that's got a bunch of different locations, and we'll talk about that today. But the ability to do all that remote troubleshooting and that remote configuration, I'm sure that's been a big part in landing a multi-site restaurant chain.
Yes. It, like we just said, the how easy PDK is to use, at the actual location is one thing, but the fact that corporate office in Austin can go on and tell the other restaurants all over the state what they wanted to do as far as who can go in this door and out this door. There's contractors involved because they're in commercial buildings that maybe need to get in overnight, and they can either give them a code and then take the code out, or give them their own card, where they can get in and out however they want. The thing I found out, and I don't understand the legality, I guess is the word of it, but a lot of restaurants need to track who goes in and out of the room with the credit cards processed. They need to be able to, if there's an issue, to say, well, no, we have this room covered, only these people are allowed in and out. Nobody has access to credit cards. And I think it's more of a credit card theft identity deal that they're trying to control, not an employee coming in going, "Hey, I'm going to write down this person's credit card that just, that just went through our pay terminal." But I think it's more of, just kind of a, hey, this is something that protects us from that.
Yeah.
Managers, that's where they keep cash and, other things. But that was the initial thing with Pluckers that we'll talk about in a little bit that brought all this to the table. We were doing the security, and they needed another way to secure an office door.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about, is that a restaurant, a lot of people might just think about security with it and say, hey, it's just going to be the perimeter doors and we're going to be good, right? That might be a 1 to a 2 door system and call it. But there are other unique aspects and features that are required with restaurants. I mean, you're talking about certain other rooms have to be locked up, due to theft issues and due to making sure that credit cards are not stolen. I mean, that's something kind of unique and interesting that you got to think about when you're starting to bid out restaurants.
Right. So the Pluckers restaurants have, if you've probably never been in one, but it's a sports bar / restaurant, ton of TVs. So the flip side was, we were looking at office door. Well, then it turned into the AV provider was sending them bills because employees were going in and trying to change channels on TVs, they're unplugging stuff and this and that. So now they control that door where the wait staff just can't go in and try to change the channels. It's a controlled door as well, and they said that's really knocked down having the roll of service truck or TVs, audio and things like that. So I don't, mainly the other restaurants are typically just, it's an exterior door, a delivery door, controlled, overnight stuff. They drop food off in the middle of the night. They give them an alarm code, and they've got a PDK access code or a card, and that's how they, kind of monitor them going in and out. And they can, there's times that people tell them, hey, I had, we didn't get a delivery. Oh no, our guy was there, and they're like, no, he wasn't. We have cameras. We can track their card. He never was here. They didn't use their alarm code, things like that. So it's just another step in the security process of saying, hey, this didn't happen, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really cool. I mean, that being able to go and pull those reports to be able to ultimately track what is actually happening at your restaurant is really sweet. And like you were talking about, this is a multi-site chain. The corporate headquarters in Austin can go and pull that report for every single location that they have out there.
Yes. Yeah. They have a facilities team that does more than just what we're talking about. You got, cooking, ovens and stoves and refrigerators, and, they're kind of in charge of all that, but they're also in charge of this part of it too. And it makes it easy for them. They don't have to go to the site. They can do it from here. And then the flip side is, if they have a problem, they can send me a message and say, hey, we have a problem. And I'll give you an example. We do the riser door now. We've added the fire riser exterior door for multiple reasons. One is several of the restaurants have roof access, and it goes through that riser door. Mm-hmm. Well, if the AC guy needs to get on the roof, they don't want to have to go bother the manager on duty if it's during the day. If they want to go after hours, they have their own, access card. They can't get in the restaurant, but they can get into that room. They can access the ladder. They can get up to the, to the roof to do what they need to do. The fire, some of the fire equipment's in there. Same with the fire alarm company. If they need to get in there and do something, they don't have to let them in the restaurant. They can get in that riser door, and they keep, some of them, not really a storage, but we do a storage door as well on some. They have a storage door on the exterior that, only certain people have access to. So we control up to 5 doors in one restaurant. Office door, AV door, delivery door, which is also the employee entry door, the fire riser door, a storage door, and actually, I take that back. There's one location that we control the liquor door.
Okay.
They were missing, figured out, liquor was walking away, and now only certain people, the key people, have access to that room. So, and a lot of it is depending on how that restaurant is structured. Some of them don't have that many storage type doors or doors they can use for that stuff, is why we don't have it. Like there's some restaurants don't have a riser door because it's the way the building is built, and they don't control it. The landlord does. So it just depends on the facility.
That's so cool. Let's dive a little bit more into Pluckers and learn a little bit more about each one of these locations. I guess we won't go cover each one of them because I know there's a lot that you guys have done. But ultimately, when you guys were starting to bid out Pluckers, what did that whole process look like for you guys to make sure that you guys were going to land every one of their jobs, but then also make sure that you were bidding out the correct stuff for them?
So it started out. It started out just the office door and the AV door, and then right away they latched on to, hey, this is a pretty cool product. We can eliminate keys, people going in and out, that kind of stuff. And then it turned into, hey, can we, and it's funny because it's like the way they asked it, well, is there any way to do it on an exterior door? Well, absolutely. And we put the panel over near the door, and we use fine power over there, and we use the wireless antenna, and so we're not having to go in and run wire across the restaurant. We have it, talk through the wireless antenna, which is a lot easier for us at the, when we're when we're going into a restaurant that's already built, to add that door. And then it just rolled over to, hey, we want to do these riser doors. And so now it's just part of the spec. Um, we're opening one right now in Houston, and it's got the office, the AV door, the delivery door, and the riser door. Um, and the contractor, he just he puts that in his spec to have his conduit on the outside for the reader, and um, they they love it because they have a lot of turnover as far, in the restaurant business. There's, you're giving out keys, and that's the main thing, I think.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about going to change a lock because, all of a sudden now there's 4 people that don't work at, this research location, but they had keys to it. And the other thing that's unique is they really move people around quite a bit. So if you're a manager of, let's just say there's one called research, which is right here by our office. Well, you also have to be able to go 5 miles down the road to the Lakeline location if that manager's gone, or if maybe they got rid of that person. So they move them around. So the fact they can get on at the corporate office, assign them to whatever doors, at the research, and then they go in and assign them the Lakeline. And so now they're at multiple sites where that, it just, if they call them, hey, tomorrow you need to be over at, XYZ. Well, they already have a card and they can get in. It's not a matter of, well, I don't have a key, or I only had a card for that one place. And then they know now, hey, they can just get on there real quick and add them to that location.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just a real, it's the easy part about it that's really intrigued them to make it where, hey, we can add multiple doors, and make it, we had one in Dallas that, the contractor needed to be in overnight. And it was what I was talking about a while ago. They put them in the system. The guy couldn't get in. So they're calling me the next morning. Hey, we did this. Well, guess what? He didn't assign it the right way. So it was an easy fix, but the downside was, well, he didn't get in that night. And I said, well, if you were up, or if there was a way to, for someone overnight, they could always get on their phone and just unlock the door from their phone and let them in. And they're, oh, we didn't think of that. So, and there are times that there is a glitch with PDK, like anything else. We're not perfect. But the second part of it is they can get a hold of me. I can try to fix the problem. And then your guys' tech support is unbelievable. I mean, when I can call in, they can look at what I'm looking at, and we can put our head together and figure out what's going on.
No, that's so good.
And that, instead of saying, well, I'm going to have to send a technician to that site, and we're going to have to call, we can figure out the problem together, without even going out there.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing.
I completely agree with you.
And and it's not all the time, but most of the time the people we buy from has what I need on the shelf, but there's sometimes they don't. And we just tell them, hey, we got to order this, and it's going to be a few days, and then we'll get out there and get the reader replaced, or whatever the problem may be, and move on down the road. Yeah.
Ultimately, how many locations does this Pluckers have that you guys have installed access control on?
Right now, I think there's 30.
30. I mean, and obviously they're expanding. You guys are expanding. And so ultimately, when I look at PDK, this is a platform that is helping these companies to grow and is ultimately growing with these companies. So that's one of the cool things about PDK is it does have that scalability to be able to help companies continue to expand as they expand.
Yeah. So there's, the guys in Dallas that help me out, they install PDK as well, so they're real familiar with the product. The company in Houston they are too. So when they go out, everybody pretty much knows when they get there what they're looking at. There's no troubleshooting. Oh, it might be this or this. It's like, hey, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the strike.
Yeah.
I've tried to get them trained at Pluckers, and they're doing a great job now of, okay, it's not always the strike doesn't work. Sometimes the door's not sitting right, and the latch is preventing it from opening. And I tell them, open the door and fob it and check the strike. And they're, oh, yeah, well, the door people that do, the work for them, they understand that now. And so they come and they can adjust the door and get us back up and running without too many problems. So
That's awesome. Perfect use case of PDK there. I love it. Well, Jeff, we are just about out of time on this week's episode of the Big Access Podcast, but I wanted to thank you again for taking the time to come jump on, talk to us all about why restaurants need security and ultimately how multi-site restaurants really benefit from PDK. So thanks again for taking a little bit of time out of your busy day to come jump on. Well,
I appreciate you having me on. It's good talking with you, and hopefully I was helpful.
Yeah. Oh, very, very helpful. I'm looking forward to getting this episode out there. For those of you who have not already done so, please make sure to subscribe to this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and let us know if there's any other topics that you're looking to learn in particular, and we'll be able to get that thrown into an upcoming lesson. But thank you guys a ton, and we will talk to you next time.